Hello and welcome to Restore 2023. We've been reading from First Chronicles and we realize that the writer, the chronicler, has sourced his texts from 2 Samuel, selecting narratives. He's leaving aside some family ones and he's picking up some war ones. And the material is mainly taken from 2 Samuel chapters 8, 10, 12, 21 and 24. And some examples of this omitted narratives are to do with, for example, David showing kindness to Mephibosheth in chapter 9 of 2 Samuel, David's adultery with Bathsheba, 2 Samuel 11, the rape of Tamar, 2 Samuel 13, Absalom's revolt in 2 Samuel 14, and the rebellion in David's family, 2 Samuel chapters 15 to 20. Now, it's difficult to pin down why these stories are omitted. And it looks like the chronicler is protecting David and is not giving a full picture of his failures. But I don't think that's the case, because he doesn't hold back in addressing some dark sides of David's character in other parts of the Chronicles. But today we're reading from 1 Chronicles 19 and 20, where David's battle against the Ammonites, who fought with the Arameans. These battles could have been avoided if it wasn't for the misunderstanding by these Ammonite nobles of the ambassadors of condolences that David sent to the new Ammonite king, Hanun, after his father died. David wanted to express his sympathy and to return in this way the kindness that the deceased king has shown to him. These Ammonite nobles read into the visit of this delegation, and they read into it an attempt to spy out the country and take over it. And as a result, they humiliated David's ambassadors. As I think of this story, I'm reminded of the reality of how easy it is to be misunderstood, and how the escalations of measures take off so promptly when there is misunderstanding, even when things are done genuinely in good spirits. What could have been avoided happens, and it's costly. It's costly because the commander with his 7,000 charioteers and 40,000 infantries are killed, and David has taken political control as well as war plunder. One of the things that is worth mentioning here is that the chronicler is trying to fit all the battles in one chunk of text, and there isn't necessarily a chronological correlation here. The point that the chronicler wants to drive home here is that all Israel can count on Yahweh's guidance, protection, and providence. I mean, the reference to the past traditions, actually looking back, create hope for the future. This is the message of hope is very prominent for the chronicler. We come to chapter 20, where David returns to Jerusalem after he's battled against the Ammonites. Now, Joab returns, but also now he goes back to finish the job. Spring is a very good time for the battles to be carried out. There are practical reasons as well as economical ones. The ground is not wet or muddy for the army to move on, but also the armies make the most of their agricultural plunder. When Joab traveled to Rabbah and laid siege to this capital of the Ammonites, David did not accompany his troops. Now, historically, this is the time when David had his affair with Bathsheba. And this is the military campaign in which he sent husband of Bathsheba, Uriah, to his death. The next conflict to be addressed by the chronicler is the one with the Philistines, and in particular to reports on the Philistine giants, Sippai, Goliath, and the unnamed giant of Gath. The Hebrew word is Rephaim, which refers to a race of giants of whom we know nothing more than they were larger than normal men. Apparently, the Rephaim had left a genetic heritage, even though the last pure member of their race was Og, king of Bashan, whose bed was 13 feet long and 6 feet wide. Remember from Deuteronomy chapter 3, verse 11. The defeat of these giants was a sign that the land had finally been completely conquered.